guy checks all the boxes.
What would it mean for your program if you're able to upset the #1 team in the country and a Nick Saban coach team that you know all about that dynasty?
Well, I mean, that would take a lot of work. We'd have to play awesome. You got to get some breaks, you know, and anytime you play the #1 team on the road. And so maybe Little Ole Miss can pull it off.
Did you just say Little Ole Miss?
I did, and that's just, you know, you copy people when it's worked. And Dabo did it, and they won, so maybe it'll work.
Did Dabo decide to basically go for it on every fourth down? I don't think so. It's the wrap-up presented by Allstate. Harry Douglas still mad about it. I'm Jason Fitz.
Guess what?
Go ahead.
Hey, make sure y'all get y'all popcorn ready. Get your popcorn ready.
We're already to the popcorn. We haven't even started this thing.
Get your popcorn ready, y'all.
This is going to happen. For the next 30 minutes, we're going to get you caught up on everything that happened throughout the course of the day on a wild Saturday. It's still a wild Saturday as the upsets are coming down to the wire, even now while we're on air. Plus, I don't know, one of those upsets involved a huge play from a great quarterback. He will join us in a little bit. That's what they like to call a tease. But first, Harry, it was wild today, and I don't think anything had you as mad as obviously Lane did, right?
Lane Kiffin had me upset the rest of the day after those fourth down decisions that he made. Yes, there's a way, there's a time and a place for everything. The way he made those fourth down decisions was not the time and the place. The only one I agree with is the one down, I think, inside the 5-yard line, inside the 6-yard line. I agree with that one. The rest of them, well, the rest of the ones after that, terrible decisions.
Well, it was a chaotic day because not only did we watch blowouts that we didn't think were going to be blowouts, we watched upsets we didn't think could be upsets. Oregon falls.
Terrible. Like Tom Barkley said, it was terrible. Terrible.
This is every single Saturday right now. Like, if there's one thing I'm 1,000% sure of, there's nothing we can predict at this point. Like, if you want to raise your hand and tell me you had all of this called today, keep your hand up and let us know who the liars in the room are.
Like my grandma would say, a lie don't care who tell it, boy.
Your grandma said some weird things.
Man, my grandma said a lot of. No, it's just
cultural differences.
There you go, Fitz. There you go.
That's what we're going to go with. All right. On that very awkward note for all of America, let's get to some superlatives. The Saturday Shoutouts. It's time. I love this scream every single time. Let's start with Best Boy. We're going to start with we're going to recognize some of the best moments today, and we start with Best Boy, because anytime there's an adorable dog, it gets in the show. And that adorable dog would be one Uga, the Georgia Bulldog, caught lounging in the air conditioning. I can't blame him.
Uga is over it. Uga didn't care anything about a football game. Well, that's because, was there actually a football game?
Yeah.
According to UGA's fans and UGA standards, UGA blew out someone that would happen to be Arkansas, so Uga was over it.
Yeah, but I like to call those beer games. Like, as a fan, when you have a game that you know that you can just put your feet up and have beer and not stress, that's where Uga was, without the beer, obviously. He was having like a biscuit.
You know, Uga may have took a little shot or two.
I mean, Uga
Forget the beer. He may have had some hard liquor.
I don't know. It's warm and.
Do you think Uga's a drinker?
No, the water. I think Uga's a big. Like, he's slobbery too. Like, you can tell from a mile away. Let's get to the next one. Harry Douglas, you'll appreciate this. Toughest catch. All right, the toughest catch of the day. Georgia Tech taking on Pitt. Pittsburgh wide receiver Jordan Addison falls backwards, falling to the ground, Harry.
That's what I'm talking about, Jordan Addison. I'm really high on this young man at the wide receiver position. That's one of the reasons why he's leading the nation in touchdown receptions. Jordan Addison, Kenny Pickett, do your thing.
So, to be clear, you fell down on the ground, you couldn't even stay up, and the ball just landed in your stomach, and that gets credit?
Sometimes it's like that, but the ability to concentrate and not let the fact that you're falling down distract you from catching that football, I'm with it.
Yeah, I can't even walk up and down the halls without tripping over myself. Who am I kidding? Let's go to Best Drive next. USC taking on Colorado. USC wide receiver Jake London isn't messing around. Well, never mind. We're going to get to that one in a second. First, we'll do Best Block. Why? Because we like to give the Hog Molly some love. How about one guy taking on three guys? That would be Jalen Carter. One of the best blocks of the year. Takes on three people at once.
You know what? I want the big guys to start wearing the cutoff jerseys again. Let those bellies hang. Let everyone see those bellies. Y'all guys are making those plays. Y'all making those blocks. Listen, they need love too.
Yeah, don't give Mike Golick Jr. any ideas. That's what this is really about. Like
Take it back to the 80s and 90s with the cutoff jerseys.
Yeah, like just below the man boobs. Like that's what we're doing now. Like
listen, I played with a guy in Tennessee who actually happened to play at Alabama, Chance Warmack. For some reason, Chance loved to show his belly all day, every day in practice. And I used to be like, oh, Chance.
I don't know what that logic is like. Like, all right, you and I both spent a lot of time in the South, like 20 years in Nashville for me. Why is it like the fattest guy on my street is the guy that's out there with no shirt on, like mowing the lawn, just absolutely feeling himself when it's like hot, humid, and disgusting out? And I change like 18 times before a show because I'm like, does this shirt make me look fat? Before I eventually go to a hoodie because I lack the confidence.
It's all about self-esteem. It's about the esteem of yourself, says Cat Williams.
All right, we're going to go next. We're going to get, at this point, we'll go to best sack. I say that's it. Yes. All right, we're going to best sack. And this one, just didn't even see it coming. Maybe call it worst block. Anthony Cook read the O-line perfectly. Max Duggan was not ready for the blindside hit.
Well, in reference to the movie The Blind Side, make sure you have someone watching your blind side, Max Duggan.
Look at that. No, if we're going to make a reference to a movie, it's going to be The Hangover because he got knocked. Never mind.
Oh.
Not up in here. That's where I was going to go with that one, not Friday. All right, we'll keep going with best scramble next. And this was maybe the best play of the year that I've seen. Bo Nix. Bo giveth and Bo taketh away. Well, this is one of those giveth plays because look at him. He's going. He's going. He's going. You ain't going to throw me down now. Nope, sir. Good, sir. I will throw the ball when I'm ready for the touchdown.
Listen, I don't care how you do it. Where there's a will, there's a way. That's all I have to say. I see you, Bo Nix. Come back and fight for your job, young
just
man.
Look at that. Like, if you're LSU, you got to feel defeated at that point. We'll keep you updated on that game when it comes to a close, obviously, as it is still going on. Let's go to the best belly flop. You mentioned, the big guys. Well, little people can belly flop too. Like, you can be in great physical shape and still decide, bam! In the water belly flop.
I am all for this. This is dope. This is remarkable. This is fun. You know what? Anything that we can do as men, women can do also.
Well, I mean, that's an incredible belly flop. All I keep thinking, though, is who has to clean the outfit after? Like, did she stay out the rest of the day in the cheerleader outfit drenched from the belly flop? It seems like that would be, you're going to get a cold.
I'm guessing, and I'm hoping that was at the end of the game.
Oh, well, I didn't have that much common sense. Now that you say that, that does make sense. I just hadn't thought of it that way. That's why he's not just a pretty one.
I would tell you what my grandma says, but I don't want to hit you with all
No, go ahead. What's your grandma say? Okay.
Nope.
Wow. That very, very different childhoods. We are learning that throughout the course of today. Let's go to best drive next. We previewed it earlier, but now we'll actually give it to you. USC taking on Colorado. Drake London isn't messing around, goes airborne, hauls in the 28-yard catch just shy of the touchdown. Look at that.
He must have on some Michael Air Jordan.
Oh, good Lord. But he's not done. Very next play, he goes up, and away. Gets the touchdown.
Why do you need two hands? That's why he is the leading receiver in college football right now. Hey, do your thing, man.
Don't need two hands when you got all that stickum on the gloves.
And he has a name like Drake. And then Drake wants to fly to London.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Drake, the artist, sort of overrated. Like, that's one of my hot music takes. Not big on Drake.
Don't get kicked off this set. We're far from done, but don't get kicked off the set.
What's your grandma say about Drake?
My grandma, don't you do that. Don't get kicked off this set tonight.
Let's go to best leapfrog before I get fired. Oh, and Harry hated this one earlier. I don't know why. Garrett Miller brought out the hops and said, you know what? I can jump over stuff too.
I see you jumping over that step stool.
Oh, steps. Oh, my God. That's well played.
Look at him jumping over that step stool.
Like, all I can think about is the grunt that came out during that jump and how unimpressed the wide receivers are on the side.
He jumped over a step stool.
Like Garrett Miller's a big guy, right? So he jumps over something, and in my mind, he's going, oh, as he gets over it. And the wide receivers on the sideline are like, eh.
By the way, y'all, Fitz was in love with this play earlier. He jumped over a step stool.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, I can barely walk over a step stool, so, okay, I've got a lot of respect for it. Let's go to best toe tap here. We'll go with a little bit of Fred Astaire. That's an old reference. Google it, kids. Washington State wide receiver Calvin Jackson Jr. put on a show with this catch.
Oh, man.
Look at that. Pulled out the spin move, then the one-handed, and then he goes, boop, just going to, boop.
Ooh, right and he got the foot in.
Yeah, I mean, that's why it's the toe tap. Fred Astaire, you big on the tap dancers there, Harry Douglas?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Indeed. Indeed.
I don't know what the heck is happening anymore. Oh, my God.
Indeed.
I'm going to pull myself together and be professional. I promise I'm going to do it. Worst celebration can't be any worse than the job I'm doing right now. South Carolina forces a fumble recovered by Brown. But Brown decides, you know what? What can Brown do for you? Get rid of the ball a little too early. You always got to wait till you're in the end zone. What are you doing?
Come in, son. Come talk to coach. Come to the principal's office. Take that uniform off and don't come back.
But I think we had good reaction. I may have cut that off. I'm sorry. It does bring us one of the worst rules in all of football, in all the land, in anywhere, in all levels of football. If you're going into the end zone and you fumble it out of the end zone, why is it a touchback to the other team? Why don't they just give you the ball where you fumbled it? It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, if you're going into the end zone, you flick it in if you're like trying to make the play and it rolls out as a fumble, why does the other team get it at the 20?
How about he just took the damn football and scored a touchdown? How about he do that?
I mean, that's probably fair. I mean, one step at a time.
I mean, but how many times do we have to see this happen like year in and year out for guys to finally figure it out? Okay, let me make sure I get to the back of the end zone before I want to drop the football.
Like, okay, if you're a fan of certain teams, everybody that watches me on ESPN knows I'm a Raiders fan, right? There's something I've learned in my life. The Raiders could be up by 60 in the first quarter, and I'm not going to text anybody because I realize that I can't celebrate till it's over because I've had my heart broken too many times. I've learned that as a fan. All I'm asking is for players to learn the same exact thing. Maybe you just wait until you're in it. Like, even have a buddy at the back of the end zone that gives you like a thumbs up and then flick the ball around. Like, do your dancing, do your celebrating. Just do it after you score.
I don't get it.
All right, let's go to best celebration. From the worst to the best, a little bit of love here from a huge upset. For the first time since 1986, Kentucky has beaten Florida in Kentucky.
It's a party, it's a party, it's a party.
I mean, look at this. Like, they're going after it.
It's a party, it's a party. Oh, let's do it. Oh, let's do it.
I just want to say Waka Flocka Flame.
You know where he's from?
Atlanta?
The south side of Atlanta, baby.
Okay. I knew it was going to be Atlanta. I mean, there's no doubt.
Guess where I'm from?
It's the south side of Atlanta.
But say it like this. Say south with an F.
Oh, yeah.
You
South.
listen to 2 Chainz?
South side. Yeah,
we spell south with an F.
Yeah.
South.
Side. The first producers I ever worked with in music always said the booth. Instead of like getting in the booth, it was always got to get in the booth, which...
That's Southern slang, man.
It just gets you. It gets you right there. Those are some of the best moments of the entire day throughout the course of college football. This is the wrap-up presented by Allstate. He's Harry Douglas. I'm Jason Fitz. Obviously, a lot going on, but let's get to the big celebration moment from today's action, brought to you by Allstate. And this was epic. Georgia made Arkansas pay on this punt. This is our, look at the celebration. We got the fancy graphics. I can't just like roll over it. We got fancy graphics happening here. That's good. Like, did you ever like stage dive?
Well, I got a question. Like, the people who like do this right here, do they ever wonder if somebody's like gonna hit them into like gonads and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, 1,000%. Especially if you're like at a heavy metal concert, like you're sort of like, taking your life in your own.
Do you go through like covering yourself?
No, because I mean, once you put yourself out there, you put yourself out there. Like you can't second guess the dive. I could personally never do
Free
it.
access, huh?
I also don't trust a bunch of usually. Let's be honest, the people that you're diving on top of have probably been there all day drinking. So now I'm going to trust somebody that's had way too much to drink to be the person that's going to pass me to the buddy sitting next to him. I don't love my odds in that situation. Like, again, over analytical by me. Let's get to the best celebration.
Protect your nads.
Somebody cut that off. We're brought to you by Allstate on the celebration moment, and it comes from this. Georgia made Arkansas pay in this punt. Oh, my God. Recovered for a touchdown. Sea of red out there. They were going nuts for a game we thought was going to be close. It turned out not to be at all. Like, Georgia made a statement. In my mind, don't at me, or do. Go ahead, just make sure you follow me. I'm thirsty for followers, at Jason Fitz. If you're going to at me, just know this. If I had a vote in the AP poll, I would put Georgia at number 1. They're the best team in college football this year.
Agree.
Look at that.
Agree, 100%. But listen, special teams was special for Georgia, but it wasn't so special for Arkansas. And I'm going to say this. When it rains, it pours. That's just a testament to Arkansas struggling all day long when it came to playing the UGA.
Well, and part of this came back to defensive format. And we saw this in the Ole Miss game. We saw this in this game, too. If you watched game day this morning, one thing that Herbie, I think, really smartly broke down was 3-3-5 alignments, right? So 3 defensive linemen at the front. And what that really means at the end of the day is that you're trying to stop all the deep passing. But, Harry, as you pointed out throughout the course of the day, if you do that, a smart coach is going to gash you with the running game. And we saw Alabama do that to Ole Miss. And, frankly, we saw that in the biggest way with Georgia and the way they just absolutely clobbered Arkansas defensively.
And guess what, Fitz? Guess what defensive coaches would tell you the number one priority is when defending a football team? You must stop the run. You must stop the run. Stop the run. You must stop the run.
What are they going to tell you?
Stop the run.
See, that's what's there. Like that. At the end of the day, you're 1,000% right. Nothing went right for Arkansas. Everything went right for Georgia. I want to make sure we credit Georgia for being as complete as they were, especially with their backup quarterback, Stetson Bennett, coming in. They didn't need a quarterback. You and I could have played quarterback, and they still would have taken it to the Razorbacks. Arkansas had no answer. So that is your celebration moment.
Cover your neck.
All right, it's time for Couch Conversations, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. And this one is going to be spectacular. See, you never know who's going to show up on the wrap-up. And this time, we've got Tanner McKee, Stanford quarterback, who is got to be just on cloud nine after the massive upset. Harry and I were hosting show earlier. We're trying to watch all this go to overtime. The drama was spectacular, man. Congratulations on the win. We appreciate you joining us. And, it's rare to get to talk to a quarterback from this moment. So I got to get to what your feelings were like. Because for anyone that didn't see the game, 4th and goal, you guys go for it. It doesn't work out, but there's a defensive penalty on it, so you're going to get another down. So what's going through your mind in that moment?
Yeah, at that moment, we just had to capitalize on the chances that we got. Obviously, we felt very confident in the guys that we have to go make a play and win one-on-one matchups, and we were able to do that.
So go to the next play then, because now you've got an untimed down. You're going to get another shot. When that's all going down, are you going to the coaches saying, hey, here's something I love, or they coming to you? Like, how does that collaborative process work to figure out what play you're going to run?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, Oregon has a very talented defense. Throughout the whole game, we're talking about what plays we like. I'm talking to John. I'm talking to Bryson and Elijah. All these guys are saying, hey, I think this is going to work. Let's throw this in this situation. And Coach Shaw is obviously a great coach. He was listening to that input, and we were kind of going back and forth what we think we should play or what we should run, and it worked out great.
Now, Tanner, you're a Southern Cal kid. You're from Southern California, my man. You actually got your first start against number 14, USC. You got that win. Take me back to that moment, man. What was that like for you in your career?
Yeah, obviously it was really big. USC feels like home to me. Growing up a USC fan, I've been to the Coliseum for tons of games. And so walking into the stadium is great to kind of see that again and to just compete with my guys. Obviously we have a lot of team trust, and we were able to pull off that win as well.
So I think it's interesting for a lot of America that might just be meeting you. Your faith is obviously a big part of what drives you, and it's a big part of what's driven decisions in your life. You went on a 2-year mission as a Mormon before you came back to Stanford. I always think that's interesting for athletes making that decision, because you were coming in so highly touted as a quarterback. How concerned were you about just having a roster spot when you came back from that mission?
Not really super concerned. Coach Shaw, he was awesome throughout the whole process, and giving me a spot when I was going to come back. My philosophy is when you put God first, he's going to take care of you. And so I try to do that and set my priorities straight. And then when I came back, I was ready to play football.
My man, I read that you made your own weights while you was on this mission trip. So you was able to lift weights by making your own weights. Man, what was that process even like?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I was trying to do what I could. So I had bands and things like that. We had a metal bar, filled paint buckets with cement. And, yeah, that was kind of my barbell for 2 years. So did what we could, made the best out of every situation.
Well, which is crazy, because I also read you lost about 15 pounds at one point. So, coming back in and starting the training process and getting just back into the mode of football. And then you did all of that during COVID. So how hard was the adjustment to just get back to who you were before as a quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, physically, mentally, it was pretty hard. But I was pretty hungry to play football. Taking 2 years off of the game that you love. Coming back, I could not wait to step back on the field, be with my guys, and play football again. So took a little bit of time to get back in shape, learn the playbook, but ultimately I just wanted to get out and be with my guys.
You guys beat the number 3 team in the nation, the Oregon Ducks. What kind of win did this do for the Stanford program?
I mean, it was huge, huge for our confidence coming off a loss to UCLA. It kind of shows that teams don't beat us; we beat ourselves. And so when we execute how we're supposed to, we could really beat anybody. And so obviously we're going to be competing for the Pac-12 championship. So this sets us one step further to that goal.
Now, has Tiger Woods called you yet? Has Davis Mills hit you up yet? Has any of these guys, has Andrew Luck sent you a text message and told you good luck? Atta baby, that's the way to represent for our school's program. Have you got any of those texts yet from any of those top dogs that came from Stanford?
I'm going to have to check my phone after this. But, I mean, we keep in contact with Davis. Davis is actually obviously doing great. Andrew Luck's coming into our QB meetings a few times, and so we're all in contact with those guys. And so the Stanford network, Stanford's connection, they run deep.
The fans stormed the field. That's how they celebrated, and rightfully so for something like this. How are you going to celebrate the big win?
I mean, I have my family here. We're going to go eat some dinner, really rehab and get ready for the next game. It's a short week for us. We play on Friday against ASU, so we got to start getting rolling.
That's what I'm talking about, Fitz. A man of his business. He's ready to move on to the next.
Is there wait, but like Stanford, is there something like fancy that you go eat? I mean, is there like a best spot on campus to eat for Stanford?
On campus? There's a place called Jimmy V's. That's kind of my spot. So I go to Jimmy V's, whenever I can for lunch. Maybe some taps. We go to Grapevine, a little off-campus thing. So we'll see.
Well, you tell your parents, you tell whoever is there with you, supporting you, that you deserve a big old steak tonight because y'all got that win over the number 3 team in the country. Kudos to you, my brother.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Tanner, thanks for hanging out with us, man. Congrats. Again, it's fun to watch you play, and we can't wait to see how it goes the rest of the season, brother.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Let's get you caught up on Penn State, Indiana. We picked this up. Sean Clifford finding Brenton Strange for a 10-yard touchdown there. Early lead, 7-0 for Penn State.
Great job by Sean Clifford using his legs to extend plays.
Now we get Indiana running back Stephen Carr stuffed for a turnover on downs.
What down is it, Fitz?
Fourth down?
Just take the field goal. Just take the field goal.
Nobody today seemed to want points. Points seem to be some sort of like a hot potato game. Sean Clifford here throwing a beautiful 8-yard touchdown to the one, the only, Jahan Dotson.
Like the great Mark Jackson says, Mama, there goes that man.
Always got to set Harry up. Know he loves him. Indiana quarterback Jack Tuttle here sacked just when they were trying to get something done. Penn State defense really starts taking control in this one, and then after this, obviously, that's a monster sack. Then Sean the dog Clifford is on the move. Who's he going to connect with again? You give you one guess, Harry.
Mama, there goes that man.
This time it's 30 yards and a tutty. Penn State takes up the 21-0 lead. Speaking of tutties, Jack Tuttle throws a terrible lob here. Intercepted. This has just been a bad season for Indiana.
Did you see how long the ball floated in the air? Was that a punt or was it a pass?
Yeah, it's like he was trying to play one of those like yard games where it's like see who can get underneath.
Let me put some touch on it. I don't know.
All in the eyes of the beholder. Maybe Penn State, number 4, takes the 24-0 win over Indiana. The disappointing season continues for an Indiana team that a lot of us hoped was going to be, able to take some big step forward. So Indiana has not particularly been competitive. Penn State gets a win. I don't want to undervalue that, particularly on a Saturday where being ranked made you at a higher risk, it felt like, to just get your butt kicked. So big win for them.
Well, I think Penn State did something they haven't done very well this year, and that's run the football. They rushed the football for 199 yards. Kayvon Lee. We've seen Sean Clifford do it with his legs. The defense held Indiana to 3 for 14 on third downs, forced 2 turnovers. So, listen, next week, there's a big showdown.
Yeah, I mean, the Iowa-Penn State game is going to be massive. But let's be real. Next week, by this time in a couple of days, Penn State's likely to be the number 3 team in the country.
Likely.
I cannot watch what we saw.
Likely.
Presuming, I'm just presuming they don't do anything weird. I can't watch what we saw tonight from Penn State and put them anywhere in the same caliber as where Georgia and Alabama are, right? Like, we agree on that. This is Georgia, Alabama, and then there's like the Atlantic Ocean and then the number 3 team.
Right, so to start the year, it was Alabama. They were in their own category, right? Then here comes Georgia. So now, in my eyes, it's Georgia, Alabama, Those are the two top teams, and then it's everybody else in college football.
Yeah, it's like those two, and then you have nap time, and you'll get to the third-ranked team. Like, the funny thing is, in a time where we're constantly talking about who should make the playoffs, and it's going to be great for whoever does, let's not twist ourselves into thinking that they'll be competitive with the top two teams in the country, because right now, it doesn't look like anybody is. And
don't make me laugh.
I mean, yeah. And for everybody that thought Texas A&M might be the great hope on that, let's also remind people that they just lost also. So, any thought that we had that A&M might be the challenger for Alabama doesn't look like that's going to be.
But, hey, they paying Jimbo well.
I mean, yeah. What's he going to – I retweeted Adam Rittenberg asking what bonus do you get for fourth place in the SEC?
He just get $9 million. I think it's $9 million. But
set of fancy knives or something? He can buy some fancy knives with that. Maybe you'll yeah. There's so many things to say, so little time to do it. Let's play a game. You want to play a game?
Talk to me.
All right, so we're going to play a game. This is a new game we're going to call Real or Nah. All right? Nah. Like how I said that? Real or nah. I can't do anything cool. All right,
For the culture.
Year after year, college football gives us some of the best names. And we all love to look at these names, and we're going to play a game. Harry, I'm going to give you the name. You tell me if it's real or not. All right, you ready?
Okay.
First name on the ballot, on the page, whatever we want to say. Fat Watts. P-H-A-T, Fat Watts. Real or nah?
It's so real, it's trill.
All right, so you're going with real. I think that's what he just said there.
And I think I know this one because the simple fact that I know their offensive coordinator down at Tulane.
That's not fair! God, you watch too much film. Fat Watts, you are correct, is real wide receiver at Tulane. And by the way, just a spectacular name. Is that... I mean, I don't even know. Like, do your friends call you fat, or did they call you Watts out of that? Like, I don't know what happens out of that. Like, everybody calls me Fitz. Like, so do you go by Watts if everybody calls you fat?
I don't know, because a lot of people call me Doug. Some people call me HD. A lot of people call me King Kong. We seen.
I did learn that earlier. Yeah, King Kong. That's a real thing. All right. Next name on the list: Georgopoulos. Georgopoulos. Harry's thinking about this. Contemplative.
I want to say nah, but I'm going to go with real.
I mean, ding, ding, ding. 2 for 2 on this. Georgopoulos would be the junior punter at UMass. So for all of you
I didn't know that.
Are out there, well, nobody did. For all of you out there looking for, now that's a good smile. Georgia's got a good, that screams a punter named Georgopoulos.
George got them Dumbo ears, too. Flying all over the place,
I'm
George.
just wondering, if anybody's walked in and been like, hey, guys, can I get a Georgopoulos jersey? Georgopoulos jersey, not easy for me to say. Let's go to the next name on the list, Scooter McHenry. By the way, I've now nicknamed Scary
Man, I have a cousin named Scooter. I have a cousin named Scooter.
Like that given name Scooter?
Yes, his name is Scooter.
Well, I didn't know. I
For
thought
the
maybe
culture. But I'm going to go.
I didn't know if maybe that was the
Scooter
nickname.
McHenry. Let's go with nah.
All right. My God. Did you study these things in advance?
Is it right?
He is 3-0, Scooter McHenry.
I was guessing on that one.
All right. Well,
I guessed on the last one, too.
Scooter McHenry, way less surprising. Like Fat Watts to me, the fact that that's real and Scooter McHenry isn't, I'm glad that I'm the one reading them, not you. All right. Let's go next to Big Cat Bryant.
Big Cat Bryant.
Cat with a K. Big Cat
For some reason,
Bryant.
I felt like I've heard that name on numerous of occasions before, so I'm going to go with so real is trill.
All right. Well, he would be real, and this would be a redshirt senior defensive lineman at UCF. Real name, Marcavius, a grad transfer from Auburn. So Big Cat, he's got that Big Cat swagger, too.
He does.
He's got a thing going on.
He looks like somebody you don't want to play with. You just want to not mess around with, joke around with.
Oh yeah, and it makes sense because Marcavius, his real name, is spelled with a K in it. So Big Cat. I don't know why you didn't just go with Mark, but whatever. What do I know? All right, you ready for the next name on the list?
Talk to me.
Buck Coors. Buck Coors.
For some reason, I just like this because it sounds like a beer. So why not buck the system and drink me a Coors Light or something?
So we're going real?
Real.
All right. He had to have cheated. At this point, it's impossible anybody's this right.
Are you accusing me of cheating?
Coors.
A guy who did all his own work in college, who was an amazing student?
I have to wonder. I mean, he lives in Loveland, Colorado. I wonder if he's an heir to the Coors family. In which case, like, why are you playing football? Like, if I were an heir to the Coors family, I would not work. Just so we're clear.
Well, he wants to make his own name.
No.
He might not want to be a part of the family business.
I wouldn't want to be part of the family business either, unless the family business was a trust fund.
Well,
In which case, I'm not coming to work.
He bucked the system.
Oh my God! He's going to keep. A shout out to my buddy Buck Rising. That not his real name.
It's my buddy too. It's not just your buddy.
Well, I mean, more my buddy.
What's
than
up,
yours.
Buck?
More my buddy than yours. Next name, Octavius Oxendine. Octavius Oxendine.
This one is definitely real because this guy plays on a team that's a rival to my school, Louisville. So that's a defensive lineman for Kentucky.
Yeah, you
and
are right.
I literally looked at his stuff last night, though.
His nickname would be Ox or 00. When your name is Octavius Oxendine, I want to go by the whole thing. Like, that's where you walk in the room and you're like, hey, guys, I'm Octavius. My friends call me Octavius Oxendine. Like, you make them go with the whole thing.
Or you can go with Tay. You can call him Tay. Octavius, Tay, Ox.
Your name is Octavius. You go by the whole thing. You don't shorten it. If you have to go to brevity, then you go Ox, right?
There's some people that I know, I probably still don't know their real name to this day.
No, well.
I've probably been knowing them since I was a kid, too.
Buck. Have you ever tried Buck Rising's real name? It is a lot. There's just a lot to it.
I know of one Buck who bucked the system.
Oh, my God. That's my fault. I walked back into it, America. I blame me. Allen. Paging Allen.
No, what parent would be stupid enough to do that?
All right, he's right again. My God. All right, we couldn't fool you with Allen. What about this one next? Truck Montgomery.
Truck Montgomery. Let's say real.
We have our first mistake of the contest. No, Truck Montgomery's not a real name. No, Truck Montgomery's not. Watch somebody tweet us now and tell us that there is a Truck Montgomery on some school somewhere. But I do like the fact that they went with, Montgomery Gentry combined with the pickup truck. It's a very country music name. One more for you. Pig cage.
No.
We'll let the buzzer show you this one. Freshman defensive back at LSU, real name Quentin, nickname Pig. Transfer walk-on from Nicholls State. That, my friend, is Pig Cage. If somebody walked into your locker room and said, Harry Douglas, it's so awesome to meet you. My name is Pig Cage. Do you just say no and walk out? Because that's what I would do.
What the hell is the pig cage at? Where's the pig cage located?
I don't know what we're doing anymore.
What was your nickname?
Well, yeah. All right. You know what? When your last name's Fitz, everybody calls you Fitz, by the way. So for me, but I was a chunky kid, so like I got Jason Fats a lot as a kid also.
I'm not trying to laugh at you. I'm just saying.
No, you can laugh at me. I was a fat kid that played classical music. You can't say anything worse to me than sixth grade girls.
But your feelings can't be hurt, though, so you're good to go.
There we go. All right. This, I don't know where we went. I'm not sure we really did anything of football, but we did learn. We learned you about Pig Cage. He's Harry Douglas. I'm Jason Fitz. This has been the wrap-up presented by Allstate. Check us out next Saturday, 11 to 11:30 p.m. Eastern. Every single week we're here for you.
We learned them. You heard them?
We learned them. I did that for you. That was good for you.
We're going to learn you today.
My mama taught me that.